Hey guys, today I'm here with the RedRock 4x4 Stubby front bumper with the LED lights fitting all 2018 JL Wranglers. So this is going to be for the JL owner looking to completely transform the look of the front end of their Wrangler with a compact and very sleek looking stubby front bumper while keeping it on a budget. So the stubby front bumper is going to allow larger wheels and tires if that's what you're looking to do with your setup, on the side for more clearance as well as better approach angles off-road. So with that functionality also comes with a ton of functionality in the design of this bumper. This is going to have a number of different benefits, including a winch plate, a couple recovery points. You're going to get some upgraded LED lighting for better visibility at night, and you get this bull bar here for full grille protection. So at the moment, this is going to be roughly $400 on the site right now, making it a very affordable stubby front bumper compared to the other options. So those other less expensive options that you may be seeing just may not come with as many features as this, like the bull bar or even the winch plate. And then on the other hand, you do have those more expensive options, and those are just going to be a more in-depth design compared to this simplistic option. They may have a drop-in winch plate for a little bit more protection on that winch, and they may come with cutouts for additional lighting. So it really comes down to personal preference in design as well as the functionality that you're looking to get out of this bumper. So personally, I really like how this is set up. This is a modular setup, so you can run the bull bar if you want to. You can take off this front fairlead mount if you want, if you don't want to use the winch. So this does give you a couple of options, and I definitely think that it is well worth the price. So install is going to be a very light 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. There is a little bit of wiring involved, but it is very simple, and it's nothing you can't do with a couple of hand tools. So speaking of the install, let's jump into that now. The tools that I used for my install today were a trim removal tool, a flathead screwdriver, a 19mm and 16mm open-ended or box wrench, a ratchet, a 5-inch extension, an 18mm, 16mm, and 8mm deep socket, and a pair of wire cutters, strippers, and crimpers. So the first step in removing our bumper is to remove the pop clips that are holding the upper splash guard in place. I'm just using a flathead screwdriver to do that. You can also use a trim removal tool. So you're going to have 2 on top that go into the frame rail. Also going to have 6 on the back here that it's going to be holding it to the bumper. And after all of those are out, we can remove our splash guard. So moving on to the bottom splash guard, we're first going to remove the 2 bolts that are holding it on either side with an 8mm deep socket. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So now we have to remove the pop clips that are holding in the front of our bottom splash guard. I'm going to be using either a trim removal tool or a flathead screwdriver, whichever is easiest. I know that they do differ along the way because of the spacing. So this one's easy to access with a trim removal tool. So now we're going to remove the back panel on either side of the bumper. You're going to use a flathead screwdriver to get the pop clips out that are holding it in. So now you can use an 18mm deep socket and a ratchet or an impact wrench if you can squeeze it in here to remove the nuts that are holding on our bumper studs. There's going to be 8 in total, 4 on each frame horn. So we are on the outer driver's side right now. We're just going to loosen those. So after all the bolts are out, the last thing that we need to do is unplug the main harness for our 2 fog lights. So we are just going to unclip that. So now we can remove our bumper. So sitting these two side by side, compared to your factory front bumper, this is going to be a lot more durable even though you are going down in size. So with this stubby front bumper, you're not getting that front end tire protection that your standard width or full width factory front bumper was giving you, but you are getting a lot of clearance on the side for larger wheels and tires, as well as better approach angles off-road. So speaking of that durability, this is going to be made of a heavy-duty steel construction, so it's going to be able to take a hit off-road, and it has a 2-stage black powder coat finish on it. It's going to be a textured finish. It's going to resist any surface damage on the metal, as well as any rusting or corrosion on the metal, and really help you out getting that off-road and aggressive look. So speaking of that off-road and aggressive look, this is going to be a modular setup, which I do really like about this. This is going to come with a couple of different features. It has the bull bar up here for grille protection. You have the 2 recovery points on the front with the D-rings, which is a lot safer and a lot more efficient than your factory tow hooks. And then you also have a winch plate on the top, capable of holding a winch up to, or a winch with a pulling capacity up to 12,000 pounds. Now, again, with being modular, you do have your fairlead mount that you can bolt up and take off whenever you want. If you're not looking to run a winch, or if you're not looking to run the bull bar, you really get some options with this, which I really like. So you also are getting 2 upgraded LED lights right on the front with some riveted accenting, helping out with that aggressive styling. These are going to have a polycarbonate lens on the front. They'll be able to take a hit just as well as the rest of the bumper will. And these are going to last a long time, up to 50,000 hours, and help out your visibility greatly on dark back roads as well as on the trail. So enough about our stock bumper, let's bolt up our new one. So our first step is to attach our bull bar to the front bumper. First off, this is going to allow us to have a little bit of help when lifting this pretty heavy stubby front bumper, and it also has to line up in the front in order to bolt it into the frame horn. So all you have to do is place that over, and they also have a pretty decent cutout here. It's not a perfect circle, so it's going to allow us to move it back and forth and really position it where we want it for the best fit. So once that's on there, you can take your larger hardware and we can go ahead and bolt that down. Now we're not gonna tighten anything down yet, just because we do need to adjust it while it's sitting on the Jeep. So now you can do the same thing on the other side. So a quick tip is on top you will want the flat washer with the bolt, and then you'll want the flat washer, then the lock washer, and then the nut. The lock washer is going to push up against the nut and give it a little bit of tension so it stays in place over time. So that lock washer is very important. So once that's in place, we can go ahead and actually mount up our fairlead, and then we can bolt it up to our Wrangler. So now we can bolt up our fairlead mount using the outermost holes here. We're gonna use the same hardware that we did for the bull bar with our flat washer, lock washer, and nut. Now we can go ahead and tighten this down completely after the other side is in, just because we don't have to move this around and adjust it like we do our overrider feature or bull bar. So once that's on there, we can use a 18mm socket and a 19mm wrench. The 19mm is going to be for the back nut. You can use a 19mm deep socket if you have it, but the top of the bolt head will be an 18. So now we're ready to mount this up. Now I'm sitting on a stool using my legs to mount this up because it doesn't actually come with studs. We do have to mount this up with the bolts that we have provided. So it's not gonna stay in place right away. So now we can take one of our smaller bolts and line that up with our frame horn and bolt that through. Now again, you want to make sure that you have the flat washer and lock washer on the back of that. And we're going to just put one on either side to secure it down and make sure that it stays on while we secure the rest. So one side secure, we can move to the other side. Now that the bumper is in place, we can go ahead and mount up the rest of the hardware. So after we have the bumper secured by the two bolts, we can go ahead and bolt in the rest of our hardware. Now remember, we are using the flat washer, lock washer, and nut on the back of here, as well as the flat washer on the front. Now we can do the same thing for the other side. So now we can go ahead and tighten that down with a 16mm wrench and 16mm deep socket for the back here. Now I am using an extension just to give myself a little bit more room on the side here. You may not need the extension while you're on the inside of the frame horn. Now we can do the same thing on the other side. So if you guys are keeping up with me, you know that we left these top couple of bolts loose just so we could adjust everything down after everything was tightened down to our Wrangler. So we're gonna go back and tighten those down with a 19mm wrench and an 18mm socket. Now we can do the other side. So after your bumper is all mounted up, we can wire our new fog lights into our OEM fog light wiring harness. Now what I'm going to do as a quick overview is just connect our two individual wiring harnesses, wire harnesses for our individual lights together. Then we can run them to a quick disconnect and run them into our factory wiring harness. So each of these LED lights will have an individual harness. So what we want to do is combine those into one. So once we flip one switch, both will turn on. So we're going to strip the wires here and start with the negative wires. We're going to combine those, just twist those together. Then we're going to grab a butt connector and crimp that down. You can do the same thing for the positive wires. All right, so once those are attached, we can grab an extra loom of wire, and what we did already was attach a male quick disconnect to one of these ends. So what this is going to do is allow for a quick disconnect if you ever want to take off your bumper. Instead of the factory harness plug that you can disconnect, this will be easily removable. So you can just pop off your bumper whenever you want without necessarily having to cut off your existing wire. So we are going to strip the end of this and twist that end and connect it into our butt connector. And I will show you guys in just a second how we spliced into our factory wiring harness. The same thing for the positive wire. Now I have a black wire here, so if you don't have different colored wires, just make sure that you are connecting it to the correct quick disconnect. All right, so once those are on there, we've created one wiring harness. Now we can come over to our factory wiring harness and I'll show you how to set that up. So as a quick overview on our factory harness here, there is a black wire as well as a white wire with a red trace. So you're gonna splice in a positive wire to that white wire with the red trace and another black wire to the negative black connector here. You can use a butt connector. I would recommend a heat shrink butt connector to make sure the connection stays while it's mounted to the outside of your Wrangler. But after you are spliced into there, we've already done that with a female quick disconnect. we can take our male connectors and attach them now. So after those are connected, all your wiring is finished. Just make sure to heat shrink these, and then you can clean up your wiring and put that wherever you want to tuck it away, and you're all finished. That's gonna wrap it up for my review and install on the RedRock 4x4 Stubby front bumper with the LED lighting fitting all 2018 JL Wranglers. For more videos like this, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.